Good morning, this is Mike Houston with your Sunday morning weather hazard briefing for southeast Idaho. We did have some thunderstorm activity scooting through the region yesterday as we expected here in the Salmon Chalice. This is a radar depiction of the precipitation that it thought fell in the region. The numbers overlaid on the map are what was recorded at observation sites. We also picked up some thunderstorm activity working its way up out of the Raft River region into the at least central Snake Plain here. There were some fairly heavy showers associated with that and some narrow cores. These are the lightning strikes over the last 24 hours, so quite a bit of lightning up here into the Salmon Chalice region. A good cluster of lightning strikes here in the Twin Falls area, and to a lesser extent heading off here into East Idaho's area. And yeah, we did pick up some fire starts yesterday. Looked like about 8 new fire starts here today, most of them centered down here from Pocatello south and west into the Twin Falls area. The 3 biggies, Horse Butte here, last recorded at 5,500 acres, Lake Channel at 1,100 acres, and then the Wilson Fire here at 1,000 acres, and there's 2 residences threatened with this particular fire. The rest look like they were behaving at this point. Jump into the weather. Here we are looking at satellite imagery with a low-pressure system over southwest British Columbia. There are some embedded disturbances rotating through this flow that are expected to lift up through southeast Idaho today, particularly this system here. Our 10-hour dead fuel moistures yesterday, jumped up to some low readings here into southern Idaho, with the most critical stuff still back here into southern Nevada. But that's a pretty significant change over the previous day. Looking at our fuel status, we are still critical here across the eastern Magic Valley and points westward. Into the eastern Magic Valley, we're approaching critical, and then these regions here are all auto-populating, so we still need some input from the dispatch centers on the fuel status for those particular zones. Last we had talked to them that we weren't quite there yet. Looking at the forecast charts for today, that low still lingering here across southern Canada, northern Washington. That first disturbance lifting up into central Idaho later this afternoon, sparking thunderstorm activity along this corridor here from Mountain Home through Dillon. Most of these thunderstorms, they will have some showers accompanying them, but the cores will be rather narrow, so the character will be mostly dry across the region, so I'd expect perhaps picking up some additional fire starts today. In addition to the thunderstorm activity, we are expecting temperatures maybe to be slightly cooler than yesterday, but not by much. Daytime highs here generally in the 80s throughout the Snake River Plain, and 70s here in the Central Mountains. Some of these valley locations jumping up into the lower 80s, and certainly lower 80s here across the southeast highlands. I do expect a little wind today as well. Here we are with that low-pressure system near us. We expect wind gusts of 20 to 30 here through the Snake River Plain, and even some stronger readings here across the higher elevations in the central and southeast highlands. I would expect if you get any thunderstorms near you, I was looking at another graphic that we have available that isn't available for this particular display, but we could see wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour today from thunderstorms. So keep that in mind. This low begins to edge eastward. It's just about ready to start kicking east through the day on Monday, but for overnight tonight, it's just starting to open up. We see that precipitation corridor shifting south and east with some fairly light precipitation and ongoing isolated thunderstorm activity through the night tonight. As we work into the daytime hours on Monday, that low now beginning to progress into the panhandle, getting some fairly active thunderstorms running around the horn here from Mackay to Island Park down to Soda Springs and back over towards Malta. That doesn't mean that the Snake Plains are going to be left dry. We'll probably see some activity down there as well, but it looks like the heightened activity here is around the mountainous regions. Temperatures certainly cooler as that trough begins to edge east. Now we're looking at highs generally in the 70s here in the Snake River Plain and 60s in the Central Mountains, with some of these valley locations jumping up into the mid-70s. The southeast highlands here generally running in the mid-70s. Certainly going to see a little bit of wind, but with all the precipitation going on, that'll cut down on the extent of it. But certainly in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range here in the Snake Plain, and lighter readings here across the central and southeast highlands. Working into the night, Monday night, that storm system now progressing well east towards the Dakotas. We have some lingering showers in the Island Park region here in the morning, but by afternoon, that ridge expanding further north and that low pressure system making its way further east. We should see drier conditions throughout southeast Idaho on Tuesday. And in fact, that'll continue throughout the rest of the week as this ridge really kind of dominates. We will have some low pressure systems transitioning through the flow here, but looks like they'll be lifting to our north as we work into the latter part of the week. And as we get out to Thursday, with that ridge over us, we should see temperatures back into the 90s here in the Snake River Plain and 80s here in the Central Mountains with 90-degree readings in these valley locations, and certainly squarely in the mid to upper 80s here across the southeast highlands. The one fly in the ointment, here we are looking at the forecast chart for Friday, but with that high-pressure ridge here across or near the Four Corners, we will see some intrusions of monsoonal moisture kind of lifting up through the southern Great Basin, mixing with these systems that are passing to our north to produce some thunderstorm activity from time to time, and also some wind. So those are things we'll be looking for starting Friday and on into next weekend. That's all I had here for you this morning. Lots of activity on the screen, so if you have any comments or questions, please give us a call here at the number on the screen. Thank you.